There's something about setting horror titles during winter, especially so during the holidays, taking a time traditionally known for family, celebration, and calm, and warping it to something dark and sinister adds an unsettling layer to an already creepy premise. Still Wakes the Deep, the new title from Everybody's Gone to the Rapture developers The Chinese Room, does that in spades. Set on an oil rig during Christmas in 1975, you play as Kaz, a man who's there to atone for past sins, trying to grow past who he was before. Things start calmly enough before those that lead push for greed, drill into something they shouldn't, and all hell breaks loose.
Fuck's sake, Gibbo, I don't care. We're on a schedule. It's a fucking drill. You've got a fucking drill, so drill through it.
Something is happening to the crew, warping them into monstrous creatures, while muscle-like strands spread throughout the rig. Cass sets out to escape, trying to save who he can in the process. Still Wakes the Deep is a fantastic, tense, tight horror roller coaster ride. It's linear, and that works well for the story it's trying to tell. Setting it on an oil rig confines the space and what you can do in it, which could feel shallow, limiting exploration, but instead feels claustrophobic and eerie, the tight pacing propelling you around the rig. Kaz needs to deal not only with whatever's growing on the rig, but also desperately trying to keep it in one piece. The pacing is breakneck, hurtling you from one part of the rig to the other, which kept me engaged all the way through. It doesn't overstay its welcome either, choosing to tell the story it wants to rather than adding superfluous fluff to pad the experience. There aren't any puzzles to solve or any combat to worry about, rather, Still Wakes the Deep sets out to make you feel powerless, relying on sneaking around, distraction, and running when you need to. There are moments where the creatures lurk around an area, preventing Kaz from safely moving through. You'll need to sneak through, throwing whatever you can find such as coffee thermoses and wrenches to distract the monstrosities, then quickly moving past them while they investigate the sudden noises. These sections are tense and terrifying, having me deathly silent in real life, daring not to make a sound in case this thing could hear me through the TV. The voice cast in Still Wakes the Deep is also incredible, making the player quickly get invested in who they are and the dangers they face. The classic Scottish dry humor and wit is on full display, as even when things get tough and dark, the banter doesn't stop.
You, be on yours. I'm praying for you, mate. Remember, Jesus loves you, Kaz. Everyone else thinks you're a con.
Right, pal. Afters.
The cast is constantly charming and completely committed to the roles, immersing the player even further into the horrors of the oil rig and their stories through them. Graphically, Still Wakes the Deep is gorgeous. The thick fog that rolls in at times is haunting and distressing, the oil rig feeling like a character in its own right. The water glistens and sparkles, especially when oil starts to leak and coat the top layer. It's almost magical as you swim underneath it, letting the player forget just for a second the horrors that lie above. Playing on performance mode on Xbox Series X was stellar, as the art style and graphics added on a serious layer of atmosphere that just makes the experience that much scarier and more immersive. Still Wakes the Deep is a fantastic, tight journey, told through love, loss, mistakes made, sacrifice, and greed. It has a stellar voice cast, incredible graphics, and kept me locked in during its 6-hour runtime. Setting the narrative in the 1970s takes away a lot of the technology we know now, grounding the story and its characters in the situations that they find themselves in. Its pacing is perfect, choosing to engage the player the entire time rather than taking away from the experience with unneeded bloat. It's a really well done horror adventure, and it makes me never want to go to an oil rig. Go check out Still Wakes the Deep, available on June 18th on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC.